So today I'm going to talk to you about blockchain and artificial intelligence, or building an immutable Skynet. You know, you've always wanted to know, how do you make Skynet even more scarier? Well, I'm going to tell you today. So for those of you who don't know me, this is me. This is also me. I've been labeled by the media as the developer that's currently splitting Ethereum in two. So, you know, nice achievement for my resume. Previously, I was with Genesis Mining, so I have a lot of experience with, proof of work, large mining farms, data centers. I've been a consultant for Fortune 500 companies when it comes to blockchain technology. I've been earning BTC paychecks since 2010. I did indeed spend a lot of Bitcoin on the very first generation Apple iPad, which is a sad reminder of my bad spending habits. I'm a semiconductor engineer, I'm a software developer, and I'm currently Core Scientific's Chief Technology Officer. So I want to have you do a thought experiment. Think about how blockchain and artificial intelligence synergize today. Can any of you tell me how they synergize? Well, well, think about it. At the root cause, it's all about data. See, blockchain is about how do we store data, verify data, and track data. Artificial intelligence is about how do we consume data, how do we find correlations between data, how do we find parallels between that data. That means that they are inherently the yin and yang of technology, which makes for some great synergies. See, blockchains are deterministic, they record reality. Artificial intelligence is probabilistic, and it records a version that we want to be of reality. Ultimately, blockchain and artificial intelligence, when used together, have a lot of synergies that can help accelerate your company. So one of the great things is, as I touched on today, blockchain actually incentivizes contribution. Think about AI models today. AI models are actually hoarded inherently by large companies. Why? Because it takes a lot of electricity, a lot of data, a lot of time to actually make an inherent model that has value. And then you do not want to release that to the public. This is one thing that has not been solved by blockchain yet. Now imagine if all of a sudden interacting with that model was incentivized. Interacting with that model paid you out in some way. You would inherently get better data. That would be fantastic, right? What about if companies all of a sudden had a steady revenue stream for model usage, for sharing their model? What if they didn't have to worry about how do I get back all of that contribution I put into that model? This is one of the things that blockchain can solve for artificial intelligence. Now, when you're trying to build your immutable Skynet, you also want to incentivize people to interact with Skynet. I mean, it needs better data on the target it's going to destroy. Now, the other thing is about artificial intelligence is storage is expensive. So think about self-driving cars. They usually consume around anywhere from 2 terabytes of data per day to 30 terabytes of data. Your self-driving car is going to need to upload that data in some manner. How do you do that? How do you solve that problem? Well, today there's no good solution. Do you just plug in an Ethernet cable and, upload it to the internet? So a lot of the experiments in blockchain technology about how we do decentralized storage can apply to artificial intelligence. Now, we haven't solved the throughput problem right now with blockchain. It's quite slow to upload data to, say, the SIA blockchain. But imagine in 2 to 3 years what will happen. Imagine if all of a sudden your car could start uploading that data to the edge network on the blockchain, secure, verified, validated. The other thing is that there is no single point of failure. I touched on this a little bit before, but the blockchain is inherently more secure than storing my data in a data center. There are not single points of failure in traditional data centers, but there are less. There's a smaller attack surface. So if Mr. Robot has taught us anything, it's pretty easy, to go destroy a target if you really want to. So no one point of failure is inherently important to any artificial intelligent company now. And they go out of their way to incentivize and to back up their data, and it gets very expensive. Now think about your immutable Skynet. You want to ensure that no one human can take down your Skynet. Well, the blockchain is the perfect way to upload Skynet's conscious. Think about speed, security, and sincerity. I just want to briefly touch on these topics. So one of the important things is speed of throughput, speed of training your model, speed of the hardware that your AI is running on. Blockchain has actually taught us a lot about speed when it comes to hardware. Most people don't realize this, but in 2016, AMD started doing a lot of research into what crypto miners were doing with their cards. They were quite amazed. They were like, hang on, how did this guy get a 50% speed up? Well, they actually learned about memory timings thanks to crypto miners. So that taught them, hang on, we can start applying this to other areas of our technology. We can apply it to gaming. We can apply it to artificial intelligence. Think about security. Blockchain has taught us a lot about how we secure models. I talked on this before. Think about sincerity. Sincerity is a very important property of any training set. How do you prove that the data is sincere? How do you prove that it is valid? Proof of work is great for this. Think about it. Animals learn this in the animal kingdom. When a dog wags its tail, you know that it's sincere in its emotions because it's expending energy. It's the same thing with artificial intelligence. If there is a unit of work spent, you know that that data is valid. You know it can be trusted. The blockchain records that, which helps us get better data. So I'll open it up to questions because we have 2 minutes. Sorry I raced through that. Quite nervous, but I'm sure, does anyone have questions? No, I'm surprised.
So I was curious about your point about AI and blockchain and how they would be coupled together. One thought is obviously with AI, data in, I mean garbage in, garbage out, right? So you want to have good data, and maybe one way is to put a timestamp, not a timestamp, sorry, to put not necessarily your data on the blockchain, but you can have the ownership of that data on the blockchain, so that you can share it and you can earn royalties, for example. What are some other potential use cases that you can think of?
So a really good one is done by Neuromation. So think about Mechanical Turk today. It incentivizes synthetic data creation and labeling. You can do the same thing with blockchain, and Neuromation solved this. So they started uploading all of their data sets to the blockchain, and then they said, okay, people who will label this data for us will get paid out in tokens, which ultimately can be converted into Bitcoin. This is a great use case. Synthetic data is actually really, really valuable. Pretty much every rendering uses synthetic data. Amazon's warehouse uses synthetic data. Everything that has to do with how you shop or how you interact with online stores uses synthetic data creation. So great incentivization models for synthetic data help us get better data.
Given that both AI and blockchain, as industry progress goes, are in their infancy, so are there any concrete examples of efforts, whether enterprise or otherwise, where they're trying to mix the two together and actually harness the possibilities?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of examples. There's Walmart, there's IBM. All of them are figuring out how they can go and combine artificial intelligence and blockchain. And remember, at the end of the day, it's just data. So that's a great example. Neuromation that I talked briefly about, they actually partnered with Toyota. So to start creating all the synthetic data for a lot of Toyota's renderings. Great industry example right there.